Hi everyone, Emanuele here from GuzziEugeni.com. Today we are on the side of one of our customers in Italy who decided to enlarge his current 8-seat trampoline to bring it to 10 places. Well, today we will see why it makes sense to expand an activity of this type. Meanwhile, I remind everyone that this type of work is done with outdoor games, so the activity is strongly dependent on the weather conditions. For example, in Italy, one usually works in spring, summer, and a little bit in autumn, while throughout the winter the activity remains closed. On the other hand, we can also think of introducing the game into a shed to make ourselves independent on the external climate. Clearly, in the first case, the rents of the space are modest. In the second case, they are higher, so one game is not enough to cover the expenses, and usually one has to place more games, creating a sort of game park or play park where to host parties, events, birthday, and so on. I will not dwell any further as today's theme is different, by the way. So, as I was saying, we are at the beginning of March right now. The game is about to open and the customer has requested a maintenance with an extension of the structure in order to turn it from its current 8 seats to 10 seats. Today I want to focus on why expanding an activity of this type, so expanding the trampoline, is quite clever, because the commitment and the cost of managing and maintaining a trampoline with 8 or 10 places are roughly the same. If we want to be extremely precise, apart from the assembly which is carried out at the beginning of the season and disassembly which is carried out naturally at the end of the season, the management of the game is identical if there are 8 or 10 seats or even 12. The maintenance itself is almost non-existent and consists mainly of cleaning the game, and this is the great strength of our trampoline. It is like a war machine and can be left outdoors for a long time without worrying about it. Of course, periodically, the main spare parts must be replaced. For example, the jumping net according to their wear, average every 3-4 years, and the anti-shock paddings that, again within 3-4 years, if exposed continuously to a scorching sun, get ruined and must be replaced. I would also like to say that it is utopian to think of buying a zero maintenance game, but I must say that our trampoline does an excellent job in this sense. So, we were saying earlier that management and maintenance costs are about the same independently from the number of seats. The cost of renting the space varies proportionately instead, but still remains rather low. Think that a structure like this, of about 13 meters by 10 within a next area for the wooden houses, in Italy can cost around 3-4,000 euros for the entire season, which is a small portion of the total annual revenue. In fact, if we consider a game of this type, on average, can cash in around 5,000 euros for every single trampoline mat in the structure. You do the math. Of course, accordingly to the position, the period, duration of the season, I mean, the good weather or bad weather, the turnout of people, and so on. So there are many factors affecting it. So it is clear that adding 2 places in this specific case, that is bringing a trampoline from 8 to 10 places, means increasing the annual income by 25%, which is not really bad. And this explains why our customers request. I want to clarify that our customer, by the way, did everything correctly, did his homework. I mean, that is, he positioned the game in a public park, well attended, full of services all around, like bar, soccer fields, basketball, volley fields, in a city with a good catchment area, and it is therefore normal that the game has worked well and has cashed. And it seems to me just as normal that after returning from the initial investment, the client concentrated on increasing turnover by increasing the number of places. He was able to do this, by the way, because our trampoline is indestructible. It does not need, or almost does not need, any maintenance. And above all, as I told you before, increasing the number of places does not lead to differences in management times. That is, every day the operation to do are the same. Key is turned, the gate is open, and another day expect to come to the end. If the number of seats are 8 or 10 or even 12, it doesn't really matter. Well, I hope I was clear about the advantages of the trampoline and in particular of our trampoline. That's all for today. See you next time. Cheers.